here we go. We're on live on Facebook. Jeff, we got some TikTok for you.
That's right. We are back for another episode of Real Estate Mastery, which isn't always live into the Facebook, but because TikTok has been so damn popular, we thought, why keep it a secret, right? Let's let more people know about it. So if you missed the first episode, which was 2 weeks ago, first of all, you can go see it on our Facebook pages, either Real Estate Mastery or Lab Coat Agents, right, Tristan? And then I believe we both have it on our YouTube pages as well. So if you want to go check that out, check it out. But we are going to do a little bit of a recap today about what we talked about last time, and then go just a little bit deeper on what a lot of these buttons do on TikTok, right? Anything to add before I share screen?
No, man, I'm going to look for that video so we can just share it. Oh, here, I found it. I'm going to grab it and put the link in on the Facebook link and also on the webinar. But you can go ahead and start. This should be fun.
But before I do that, I'm going to look through and see where everybody's coming from. We've got one in Hawaii. Tim, I am jealous of you, my friend. It's a great place, a great island, a great state to create TikToks in. I would probably follow you. All right, I'm going to...
Well, there's Indiana, Marietta, Georgia. I love that.
All over the place.
Colorado Springs. Colorado, Florida. It is too early, though. Tim, yeah, it's like 4 a.m. over there, dude. I don't know what you're doing up. That's crazy.
Listen, I'm not going to feel sorry for you, dude. All right, are you seeing my screen, Tristan?
I see the TikTok graphic. It's beautiful.
Tiki-talky. Okay, so we're gonna dive in here first with some slides, and then Tristan's gonna share his screen. So pay attention, and as always, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll address them as we can. And then if you want to see any copies of any of these slides, for example, just message us, and we are happy to share that with you. But you will have access to this recording as well. So if you registered through Zoom, you will get this recording in about a week. So just an FYI. So first things first, Tristan. Let's jump through these slides here.
Let's do it, man.
And we talked about this last week, so I'm not going to go deep on the history of TikTok, which isn't a long one, and why it's doing so well. I think if you're here, you already know that. What the platform is built around, which is short form content, and it's an amazing video platform to create content, which is how I use it. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper on that. These graphs just exemplify that and tell us that it is by far and away the most popular app right now that exists. It is outperforming all of them on downloads, and probably even more so through COVID and quarantine. But first, Tristan, let's just go ahead and head off some of the objections that we consistently hear, and let's talk about it. So first things first, for those of you that have not heard these objections, we're going to go ahead and tell them to you. These are what I like to call excuses of why people don't want to use TikTok. And if you want my opinion, which you may not, you may just tell Jeff, just screw off, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. The reason why a lot of people... The reason why I think people have these objections are because they really just don't want to evolve. They don't like adopting new technology, and therefore it's easier just to make an excuse and say, well, it's owned by the Chinese. That's dangerous. I don't want to have that on my phone. But Tristan, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, well, and I'll mention a couple of things. Number one, if you actually went through your phone, which most of us have on the low end, 25 apps, on the high end, 150 apps on your phone. Do you actually know what country or what company and their country of origin actually owns those apps? You probably don't. So again, this is an excuse, but I will also say that they recently, ByteDance, who owns TikTok, recently hired Kevin Mayer, who was the CEO of Disney Plus. And so it just goes to show you how serious TikTok takes their American audience, because they hired an American to basically run a division of TikTok. Tristan, what is your opinion on this?
I say use it.
How do you overcome the objection to the Chinese own it? What do you say to that?
Well, dude, if I was worried, I wouldn't use it. I think the challenge is that we have too much of an opinion. I think if you're uncomfortable, don't use it. If you want to go ahead and test out what's new, use it. That's it. It's so easy. I think we overcomplicate it. If you don't like it, go to Instagram or Facebook. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you do want to test out what's next and what Facebook and Instagram are paying attention to, then do it.
Which brings us to the next point, which is, oh, it's a spy app, which is exactly what everybody said about that aging app last year when, you know, it was owned by the Russians, right? I challenge anyone who says this to realize that every single app on your phone has the ability to collect your data. So you can control what data you put into the app. And I'm on TikTok, and there's nothing on TikTok that they can grab from me that I could care less about, that they probably don't already have access to. There's no credit card information. There's no social security number. There's no address. There's none of that. So I'm not even sure why that's a concern. But Tristan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I do actually. Yesterday, Apple announced a lot of new things that are coming to the iPhone. And one of the things that they announced was their privacy. The privacy for the apps, for their whole system, for their whole iOS system. And one of the things that they're going to be doing a lot better of is protecting us from unwanted ads. And if you're concerned about privacy issues, then dump the Android and go to the iPhone. That they're going to be able to protect you a lot more. That's their main focus. And they're doing a great job as it stands right now. So that's one thing that just wanted to throw it out there. Another reason to have an iPhone and not an Android.
There you go. We always throw that in there, don't we?
Always.
And lastly, it is an app. TikTok is only an app for teenagers. And the truth is that the majority of the audience to date is a younger audience, but that is changing rapidly. And for those of you that have listened to any of our presentations before, you will know, and it was in one of the early slides that I drifted through, that the biggest majority audience from the US using TikTok is at 42% is 18 to 24-year-olds. And that was, by the way, about a 3 or 4 month ago statistic. It's trending up. I guarantee you that is changing rapidly because, in fact, one of the trending hashtags right now is, you know, moms of TikTok and over 30 and over 40. Those are all trending right now. They wouldn't be trending if they weren't popular. And they wouldn't be popular if people that are actually of those ages weren't actually using the platform. So number one, that's changing rapidly, just like Facebook was a college app originally, just like Instagram was for younger generations originally, and they've all shifted. They've all evolved. TikTok will be no different. But one thing I will point out is that for me, like, I love the TikTok app. I've grown an audience of over 20,000, which is cool. Do I really care about my TikTok audience? Not really. I think I will over time, which is why I'm on the platform, because over time it is going to be a big part of our lives, just like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube have become. However, if you really understand what TikTok is about, which is a really advanced video app where you can create content way easier than if I got my phone out or my camera out, shot a video, then had to go download it to an editing app, had to edit it, had to make some changes to it, then had to re-upload it, then had to post it. I can do the same thing on TikTok, and I would argue probably 10 to 20% of the time. Like a 5-minute video would probably take me an hour outside of TikTok. And so I personally use it as a place to create content, and then I post it back to Instagram and Facebook. And here's my statistics. I just, this is recent. This is this week. So this is my Instagram performance. And Instagram has really great back-end analytics, as Tristan knows. And so this is for me. And I post, I don't know, probably 1 out of 5 TikToks back to Instagram and Facebook just as content, right? And so this first one here is the last 30 days. The second one is the last 3 months. And the third one is the last 6 months. So of my Instagram posts over the last 30 days, 5 out of my top 5 performing posts were TikToks, and 6 out of my top 10. It's important to know. It's actually doing me a service on the other platforms. And so I don't care if it's dominated by teens and TikTok. And then out of the last 3 months, check this is crazy. 5 out of my top 5, 9 out of my top 10, and 11 out of my top 15 posts on Instagram are all TikToks. What does that tell me? My audience on the other platforms wants to consume TikTok content. And then lastly, the last 6 months, 3 out of the top 5, 8 out of the top 15. And a year from now, it's going to probably completely dominate Facebook and Instagram for myself. And then, of course, I will continue to evolve on TikTok. Tristan, do you have anything to add to that, or is it?
Well, I think I think it just shows where the trend is heading, which is people that are looking at TikTok videos, they know that if it has that little symbol to it, or if it's a video in this sense that looks like a TikTok video, it's going to be short, to the point, and they can consume it quickly. So there's a trend heading towards that direction. So if you start creating video content that's shorter and to the point, you're going to start seeing very similar numbers to 5 out of the top 5, 5 out of whatever it is. But the idea is, when you're thinking of TikTok, if you want to go a little deeper, to think, okay, where is social media trending and heading towards? This is where it's heading towards. So
100%.
If you're not on TikTok, that's okay. You don't have to jump on if you feel uncomfortable, but what you can be learning is how social media is progressing and where they're heading to. And this is the way.
I love it. And if you didn't understand what he just said, we'll show it to you. But all of your TikToks have a watermark on them. And so when you repost them back to the other pages, your audience sees that watermark and automatically knows, A, it's a TikTok. B, they know, because if they know TikTok, they know it's going to be short form content. So it's not going to take a lot of their time. And C, they automatically, if they know TikTok, they know it's probably going to be somewhat entertaining. And that's part of the reason why it's grabbing so many eyeballs, which at the end of the day is the name of the game. And so before we go deep on TikTok, on the buttons within TikTok, I just wanted to help define this for you, because I get this question a lot. I get this question across all platforms, but I'm especially getting it a lot on TikTok right now is, well, what do I post? Like, what do I create content around? And so I felt like we needed to digress just for a second. And as you're thinking about your social media in general, but this of course applies to TikTok, define your pillars of content. Like, define who you are and what you want your brand to be built around. So I'm going to share with you what my pillars of content are. What that means is, what is the types of content that I create? So number one for me is lifestyle. That's my life. Like, that's me vomiting what I'm doing on the daily. It's what I'm putting on my stories. It's sharing my travels. It's sharing my family, my kids, my wife, my hobbies, my interests. That's my lifestyle. That's the majority of my content. That works for me. That's how I get more eyeballs. That's how I create more opportunities. And I encourage all of you to make that a big piece of your content, because that's what most of your audience on social media really wants to see and really will engage with. And I have the proof in the pudding with my growth and my content and my analytics. Second, and the most obvious one, is business. Of course, you're going to create content around your business. That's the point, right? You want to broadcast that you're a real estate agent, that you're a mortgage professional, that you sell cars, whatever it is you do, you want to broadcast that. So business is another pillar of content. For me, one of my pillars of content, so life is easy, business number 2. Number 3, video social media, because I do a lot of it. We have the business video school, things like that. I create content teaching people how to do video, how to do social media. What are your hobbies? What are your passions? Is it crocheting? Is it cooking? Is it drinking beer? What is it? Make that your pillar of content, because it's easier for you to talk about. For me, fitness and diet is another pillar. I like to work out a lot. My wife and I eat a fairly healthy lifestyle, so we like to share it. Am I an expert? No, not by any means. But do I execute at probably a more consistent high level than most humans when it comes to diet and exercise? Yes. Therefore, I share my experiences with it, and I've learned my audience just likes getting it. And then lastly for me, so I have 5 pillars, and I would challenge everyone to have at least 3. Everyone has lifestyle. Everyone has business. You should have at least a third, probably 4, maybe 5. And you could even have more than that. For me, it's leadership, entrepreneurship. I've been in a leadership role for 20 years. So I have a lot of experience. So I share it because I know some of my audience follows me for that reason. So the point of this slide is just to remind you, define your pillars of content and focus on creating content around that. And just for giggles, I actually went through all of my TikToks. This was earlier in the week. I've actually since created about 10 more. But this is where I was on my count, roughly. I had 101 TikToks about lifestyle, just about my life, about 30 that were business related, 14 that were video and social, and 13 that were fitness and diet, which was a good exercise for me because it also reminded me I need to be creating more content around those last pillars. I rolled leadership and entrepreneurship into business. Tristan, I don't know if you've ever done this with yourself, but I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to go through your TikToks or just go through your social media sometime. Once you define your pillars and determine, okay, what am I posting a lot about and where should I probably improve, which will probably help my engagement. Anything to add?
I like that, dude. I've never done that before. Yeah, I really like that.
It's cool. It was a fun exercise. It took me literally 5 minutes. I just had to scroll through and count, what was what. And I challenge everybody to do that. So moving on, this is a video. I'm not going to share this because you can go see this elsewhere. We posted it to LCA, but it was just a video about our advice on getting into TikTok and how to just use it as a platform. So if you're new to it, don't try to get in and be creating all this advanced content. Just get in and consume and get in and save. So you can find this video in Lab Code Agents. You can find it on the Business Video School Facebook page. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I'm going to move past it because we're short on time today. And I want to jump right into showing you guys the buttons. So this is going to be the first half of this presentation, and then Tristan's going to share his screen and we're going to talk deeper. So if you're watching this right now, and some of you probably have the TikTok app open, and some of you are probably not very familiar with all of the buttons within TikTok, I'm going to show you what the basic buttons do, because that's really what you should understand. So this first screen on your left, this is our good friend Sharon Srivatsa. This is his page. This is just an example of a post. But this is what you'll see when you open up the TikTok app. You'll see other people, you'll see posts right out of the gate. That's what makes TikTok so cool. As soon as you open the app, it immediately starts playing content for you. Part of the reason why it sucks you in. So this is what you're going to see. It's going to start with his profile. So in this case, that's like, if you clicked on that, it's going to take you to his main page where you can see all of his videos. You can see how many followers he has. You can see a little short bio. You can see any links that he has. Or you can also go follow them there. So if you click that, it's just going to take you to their page, and that's what you can see. Next is the little heart, which is the like button. Pretty simple. It's the same application across Facebook and Instagram. If you like the video, give them some love, like it. The next button is the comment button. Same concept as Facebook and Instagram. Don't overthink this. If you like what you see, engagement helps the algorithm. This algorithm works very similar to Facebook and Instagram. So when you want to give love or when you want to comment, this is where you would do it. And what I encourage, and Tristan and I practice this, and some of our other friends, we practice this with each other, is we kind of create our own little pods of support, right, on TikTok. And we've done this on LinkedIn. We've done it on other platforms. We intentionally will give each other love because we know it's helping the algorithm. So if you have other friends or colleagues or whatever that are on TikTok and you're trying to help your engagement, well, intentionally go help your friends out and ask them to do the same for you, because that's what the algorithm wants to see. Tristan, before I go on, anything to add?
Look, if you guys want to start a group together, like between 5 of you or 6 of you, every time you create a TikTok and you send it to each other, just have an agreement that you're going to comment and like it and possibly share it with somebody else. This way, you start getting some momentum along with it. That's just a suggestion so that you guys can get a little bit more interaction on it initially. Because it's kind of tough at the beginning. If your videos don't pick up, right, you can be a little lonely in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that applies to any platform. I've been lonely in YouTube for years. I'll help you. Just I know. I do need help. And by the way, Julie, I'm going to talk about hashtags a little bit in a minute. So just hang in there. Okay, so moving forward, this next button is probably the most important of these buttons because this is the share button. And this is where you can do a lot of things. When you click this button, it is actually, you have the option to share it, right? And you can share it via text. You can share it to other social platforms. You can share it to other people on TikTok. You can duet here. You can add to favorites. And why you would do that, that's what I was talking about in that previous video, is when you're just consuming content in TikTok, in the beginning, you want to be saving these things because TikTok content, a lot of it is, I don't know, I would say probably 50% plus is not original content. In other words, people are copying, they're rip off and duplicating because that's what it's built around. It's humorous, it's funny. People are mouthing the words to other sounds. And this is where you go and save that stuff so you can use it later. And then you have these different buttons within your TikTok, within your Me page, where you can go see, where you can see the videos you saved, the sounds you saved, the hashtags you saved, the what is the other one, Tristan? The
sorry, I was answering two questions.
Oh, sure, no worries. So but basically, it's a place where you can save all of the different elements that you like that you want to use later, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. So that button's important. And then the last one on this page is the sound. So this little guy right here is like a record, and it'll be circling as you're watching the TikTok. And so if you like this sound and you want to use it in one of your future TikToks, I highly encourage you set it aside to use it for later, because I have many times watched a TikTok and loved the sound, didn't save it, and then couldn't go back and find it. And there's millions of licensed music in TikTok that you can use. And so get in the habit of understanding how to save this stuff and set it aside so you can use it later. These are very important tips and tricks for beginners on TikTok. And anybody who's using TikTok at a high level now will tell you this exact same thing. So the next screen here, this is Dean Aguilar. And so this is going to show you a different set of buttons. And now this is a page where you would potentially create a TikTok. So at the bottom there, you see the little house. It's your home button. If you click that, you're just going to refresh your page. It's going to take you back to the top, and it's just going to refresh it. That's all there is to it. Nothing complicated there. The Discover button is simply that. It's a search tool. You can go find people. You can go find sound. You can go search videos. This is where hashtags come into play. Hashtagging is critically important on TikTok, unlike Facebook. Very important, just like Instagram, where if you're searching for something that's trending, or you watched a video and you want to go back later and show your spouse, this is where you would type something in to search for that video. That's also why it's important to hashtag your videos, which I'll go a little bit deeper on in a minute, to hashtag your videos with relevant words that describe what your video is about. A lot of people try to hashtag with viral words. I'm telling you, that doesn't work. It might have worked 6 months ago, but the platform has evolved. It's no different than on Facebook when people tag 100 people, and it's like there's no relevance to those 100 people, and they think it's going to get their post more views. It doesn't. The algorithm's smarter than that. It might have worked in the beginning, and then Facebook caught up and said, yeah, we're not going to let you guys cheat the system. I think it's the same thing with TikTok. Now, I don't have any data to back that up, but I can tell you, I have used the FYP and the For You page like probably 50 to 100 times on my posts. Not one of those has gone viral. Now, I've also not used it, and I've had posts that have gone viral just because I just hashtag. I don't think it has anything to do with anything. It's just you get lucky. Your post grabs eyeballs and it goes viral. So I don't think the hashtagging necessarily will help that to a certain degree. It's up to you. Hashtag what you want, but I choose to hashtag relevant words so people can find what they're looking for. So in my case, I post a lot of stuff like on the Lake of the Ozarks. Well, I hashtag Lake of the Ozarks every time. That way, in case somebody searches it, they're guaranteed to find my content. Hope that helps. Then the plus button is where you create a TikTok. So once you click that button, it's going to take you to a couple of the screens that I'm going to show you in a minute. And then you've got your notifications. This is pretty simple. Pay attention to this. Just like Tristan and I always tell you guys, on any social media platform, always engage your engagement. So if people are commenting on your posts, give them love, like their comment, respond to their comment. And the beauty of TikTok is you can actually do a video reply to comments, which is very unique for these platforms. It's an awesome feature. Check it out if you haven't already. But always pay attention to your engagement. The algorithm likes that, and it makes you look better, so you'll show up more often. This, again, applies to all social platforms. And then lastly is the Me button, which just takes you to your back-end page, your page that shows all of your videos. The same thing I told you about Sharon's there. And I think people understand that. It's also where all of your shared content will be. Play around with this stuff. When you get into the TikTok app, make sure you're hitting all these buttons just to kind of see what they do and get familiar with them. So moving forward, so assuming you hit the plus button and you wanted to create a TikTok, now, and Tristan, if you want to stop me at any point, stop me. Just yell.
Dude, for sure. There's a funny one. Lorraine Harris says, I'm using my 12-year-old to help me build mine. If you have kids, use them as a resource. He's on it all day long. And I said, Lorraine, yes, my daughter helped me at the beginning as well. Jeff, What about
1,000,000%. I tell people all the time, I have a competitive advantage and I use it. Now, I'm not the only human on this planet that has a competitive advantage. You know what that competitive advantage is? I have 2 teenage daughters. My kids have been on TikTok for 1.5 years, like before most of us even knew it existed.
Hey, I knew it freaking existed. I only did 1 or 2 videos.
You did. I know. I'll give you credit there. But that's your advantage, folks. Like we're kind of trained in our society to, you know, of course, pay attention to what our kids do because we want to protect them. But at the same token, when it comes to social media, pay attention to your kids from a perspective that the youth of America are the best predictors of what's coming in social. So pay attention for the sake of your business, because if you can get out ahead, it creates an advantage for you because it will create opportunities. And so Lorraine's 100,000,000%. That's very smart. I use the hell out of my kids. Anytime I want to use a new button or I see a video and I don't know how to use it, where do I run? First, I run to my kids. And if they're not available, I go Google it. I go YouTube it or Google it, and I can always find my answer. So these images here, the first image on the left is what happens when you click create a video, when you hit that little plus sign. And I'm going to show you what all of these little buttons over here mean. So this first one is flip, the top right, you see the arrow there. If you want to flip the camera around. So I have it flipped on myself. I can flip it around and it could be facing outward. Very simple. Just know what it does. This is your speed button. When you click the adjust speed, it brings this little bar down here that I'll explain a little bit in a second. All it does is allow you to go and to speed up your video or slow it down. It's a fun feature to use and is very relevant in some videos. It can kind of make the video really stand out. The beauty button, Tristan, I don't ever use this, but I click it every once in a while just to feel better about myself. It's like a filter that makes you look a little bit younger.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's very simple. There's not much to it. But if you like to have less wrinkles on your face, use this filter every time you shoot a TikTok. And by the way, there's like 10 million other filters in TikTok, but this one just happens to be like a standout one for whatever reason. Obviously, here's filters. This is just a filter button. It's going to open up a screen that allows you to choose from literally 100 filters. It's crazy, the access and the amount of stuff that is inside of TikTok. And then this is the timer button. This one's really important. This is a really cool feature. We're going to show you this on the next slide. Basically, if you're creating a TikTok and you want to set your phone down, step back and compose yourself before the TikTok starts, it gives you a 3-second and a 10-second countdown so you get yourself in place. And if you understand and figure out how to use this, it's really cool to use, and it allows you to create better content to where you're now cutting out where you're starting the video and stopping the video. There's also an adjust clips that I'm going to show you here in a second. There's 2 ways to do that, but the timer is a really good one. It's kind of like setting up your camera to take a family photo, and you need to set the camera up, press play, and run to get with your family, and then it snaps the picture.
Honestly,
5 seconds later.
That button right there is the one I use the most, because as soon as you click on the timer button, 2 things happen. One, it gives you an option. Do you want me to start recording? So me being TikTok, do you want to start recording 3 seconds or 10 seconds later, right? And the important thing is this. It also allows you to shorten exactly where it's going to stop recording.
Yes.
And then that gives you a lot more power into the future editing parts. So if you know you're going to have like 5, 6, 7 different parts to this, that timer button is extremely important. I use that on almost every video I do.
I love it. And once you figure it out, it's like finding the fountain of youth. Every time I discover something new in TikTok, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yes.
It's fun. And listen, folks, it took me a good 6-8 months to really get in and figure this out and understand it. And I know everyone's the same. So don't get overwhelmed. You're not going to start using TikTok today or tomorrow and understand it like somebody who's been using it for a year. You're just not. It takes time. It's like riding a bike. You don't jump on a bike and ride the first time. You just doesn't have. Everything takes practice. This is no different. So the next thing I want to show here, this is the speed bar. So I mentioned if you hit the adjust speed, this gives you that speed bar. You have 5 options. You have real-time speed. You have 2x, 3x, half speed, and 1/3 of the speed. I do use this from time to time just because it's kind of fun. And I see people, if you ever wonder why so many people are good dancers, the answer is, well, some actually are, but some just sped up the video to make themselves look like they're better at dancing than they actually are. That's a trick of the trade right there, if you didn't realize that. They just speed up their video, makes them look like they're better dancers. Next, here's this is one of the effects buttons. There's actually 2 different effects buttons. This one is the most robust. There is literally hundreds, and they're adding them every day, like green screen and all these like little questions. If you follow Tristan, he uses green screen a lot. I know you just used one of those question deals the other day. You just got to play with it. You literally just go into effects, click on one, see what it does. It kind of describes kind of what it does, and you can then play around with it and create your own content. Because remember, you don't have to post this stuff. You can go in, play around, and delete it. It's not put out to the world until you hit post. So that's effects. And then we've got this little button right here. You can upload from your photos. I've actually been doing a lot of this lately. There are times when I'm like just videoing my life, like on my phone, right? I'm just taking a video of my kid or something that's going on. And I didn't have the foresight to think, oh, this would be a good TikTok. And it turns into a really good 10-second video, 15-second video. And I'm like, ooh, that would make a great TikTok. And so I'll just go and upload it to TikTok, add music, add text, add GIFs, add whatever I want, and I make it a TikTok. You can do that. You don't have to create in TikTok. There's an advantage to doing it in TikTok because there's a lot of features, but you don't have to. So if you do something outside of it and you're like, oh, that would be awesome, I want to post that to TikTok, you can, and that's how you do it. And then down here at the bottom, this is where you choose your 2 times. So TikTok is built around 15-second content. You can go as low as like 5 seconds, and you can go up to 60 seconds. So I can tell you from experience, I've created a lot of videos where I was like, damn it, I needed like 20 seconds, then I'm cut off. So I've gotten in the habit of usually choosing 60 seconds, and then if the video's 15 seconds, so be it. It doesn't matter. It's just, that's just a button there that you want to be cognizant of, and use it when you feel like it'll be a little bit longer video. My best videos got 50,000 views, and it was a minute video. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if
world that I hate you for that.
Sorry.
I'm joking.
It'll happen. And then I'm going to show you here up at the top. So I just opened up the bar at the top here. It's the status bar. And you'll notice that prior to me clicking on that, it was just blank. Now it's got these little blue lines with little white dividers, right? So in this particular case, I created a clip, a TikTok clip with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different clips. That just means start, stop throughout the video, right? Like Tristan was talking about with the timer. That's your status bar. That's where you know where you're at within the time that you chose. So in this case, it's a 15-second video. I filled the whole thing up. And once I'm done with that, it'll take me to the next screen. And then lastly, I want to show you, so I just changed the bottom here. You notice there's a little red check mark. So if you're done, if you decide, okay, that's good enough for the video, and it's like a 10-second video within a 15-second frame, you can click this check mark, and it'll take you to this right screen here. So the right image is the next screen. And so there's different buttons on that screen. First things first, actually the first one is filters at the top, but I already talked about that. It just continues over. They give you the opportunity to filter your videos again. The first one is adjust your clips. So this is where you can actually, Tristan, I don't know if you use this, but you can actually adjust the beginning or the end of your individual clips. Now, you can only do this after you've created all of your clips. So let's just say you've got a 15, it doesn't matter, 30-second video, and it's broken up into 5 segments. And you want to adjust segment number 1 and then go record more. Well, you can't do that. You have to record the entire thing, then go back, and you can adjust each segment individually. This is no different than using the editing feature on your phone or editing in iMovie or any editing software. You can only adjust the beginning and the end. You can't adjust the middle. But this is where you can tighten it up to where if, the ending didn't end at the right time or again, you didn't use the timer feature, this is where you can adjust that. You can adjust the clips right here. That's your button there. This is voice effects. You want to make yourself sound like a chipmunk or a baritone or whatever options there are, you can adjust your voice effects there. It's just another feature in TikTok. And then voice over is also an awesome feature. This is where, I don't know if you've used this, Tristan, but where if you put a video in that has no sound, you can talk through the video. So for example, let's just say you're at a listing and you want to do a little walkthrough or a short little teaser video of the property, and you don't want to talk through it while you're shooting it, you can go back and voice over it and throughout the video. And it's a really awesome feature where you can cut and edit. And I know it sounds complicated. It's actually rather simple once you get the hang of it. It's a really neat feature. And that, my friends, is an advanced editing feature on any other editing platform. So the fact that TikTok has this is just, it's mind blowing. Okay. Then we got the bottom here. You got sounds. This is where you would go add music. So you click on this button. It's going to take you out to a place where you can see what's trending. You can see what's popular. You can search for stuff. There's literally millions of licensed music, which is what makes TikTok so awesome, because it's the only platform that allows you to use licensed music. Then you've got more effects. So this is just different kinds of effects. This is the kind of effect where you can like do a split screen, or you can have like 9 of you on the screen, or you can do different kinds of different kind of cuts. And it's just, you have to play with it. This is really the important thing with TikTok is you got to play with this stuff. There's too much for us to go through in an hour training. So we just kind of touch on it. Then you got the text. I know Tristan loves text. I love text. Most of you have noticed that you can add text, and you can adjust the duration of the text so it can pop up and then go away, and then another text box pops up. You'll notice that with a lot of the people we recommend you follow. It's really easy to do. You just add the text, just hit it with your finger, just tap on it, and it'll open up another box that says edit or add duration. And then you can adjust how long the text, when it pops up and then when it ends. Super easy to use. And that's the text feature. And then stickers. Your stickers button is really no different than like if you're familiar with stories on Instagram or Facebook, it's the same general thing. It pops up a screen. You can add GIFs. You can add polls. You can add the time. You can add anything that you can pretty much dream of. It exists on stickers, and you can just, brighten up your post a little bit. And then lastly is the next one. This takes you to the caption screen, which is the last screen. And this is where you would caption it. And I think it was Julie who asked about hashtags earlier. So on TikTok, you have limited space, limited characters you can use when you caption a video. So you're really only going to get, this is about as long of a caption as you can get. This is a sentence right here. Usually I only use 2 or 3 words. But you keep it very limited. And this is also where your hashtag. And when you click hashtag, it's going to show you what's trending. So you can use a trending hashtag, or you can use relevant hashtags. Again, you're going to hear varying opinions on this and what will work or won't work. I can only speak to what has worked for me. I've tried the For You page. I've tried FYP. It's not done anything for me. So I just again, from experience was like, screw it. It doesn't work. I'm just going to go hashtag what it is. I'm going to hashtag relevant hashtags. And so that's what I do. I use about 4 or 5 every post. I've heard influencers say only use 1, but I kind of disagree with them, because in my opinion, they're influencers. They have millions of followers. They don't need hashtags for their videos to go viral. They're already famous, right? And so for me, I need to create more opportunity for people to find my stuff. And so that's why I use 4 or 5 hashtags. Tristan, any opinion on that?
No, I usually do the same thing. I use hashtags that match what I'm doing. So if it's real estate or house for sale or luxury home, well, whatever it is, right? Or the city. I also use the city as a hashtag as well.
It's a good point, especially if you're, for example, Tim, you're in Hawaii. I would always be hashtagging Hawaii or, Oahu or Maui or wherever you are, because that is like a trigger word. Now, if you're Jessica and you're in Indianapolis, that may not do you as well, because less people are probably searching Indianapolis as they're searching Hawaii or Malibu. Tristan has a distinct advantage. Nobody's searching St. Louis, Missouri. I hate to say it. I would hashtag it if, it was a video of the Arch or a video of the Cardinals or something like that. But generally speaking, I wouldn't. But if you live in a sexy city, I'd hashtag it most of the time, because those sexy cities get more search. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Okay, and so I'm just going to show you a couple more images real quick. These are the effects. This is what pops up when you hit the effects. I'm not going to go deep on this because it's super, there's so much to choose from. The one I will point out, Tristan, I don't know if you knew this, but on the second effect. So when you're on the second page, you've seen I've done a couple reverse videos, like jumping in the water, where it like shows reverse, like I'm coming out of the water.
Yep.
This is where you do it. So the second effects page. So on the second page, after you've created the video, you hit the effects and then it pops this up. You'll see over here on the far right is time. You hit time and it pulls up the option to do it in reverse. it automatically takes your video and plays it back in reverse. It's so cool. And it's
I have not tried that.
It's so simple. It's so easy to use. You can get really creative about stuff that you create. That's why I did it, because I was watching videos and I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. How do they do it? And I had to have my kids teach me. And turns out it was really easy. So that's that. This is a picture of what filters looks like. And then this is a picture right here of what Tristan was talking about on the timing. This is what pops at the bottom. Tristan, you want to talk about that a little bit more now they can see an image?
All right, so the very corner one that you see where it says drag to set recording limit. Once you click on the little timer, it says, you see how at 10 seconds, 10S is highlighted on the top little corner there. You can choose either a 3-second timer or the 10-second timer so that it says, okay, we're gonna start this video recording in 3, 2, 1, and then it starts. But the cool thing about this is that little red dot with that line that crosses down, you can scroll that all the way across and indicate when the recording will stop. So if you know you're going to stop at a certain time because let's say you want to use the voiceover or the mimic, right? Like we did, like I'll show you one of the videos that Jeff and I did where we do edit. We definitely use that one so that we could be on point when we're talking. So that comes into effect when you're doing voiceovers for somebody else's song or words. How often do you use that one, Jeff?
Almost every video, because, well, again, I like doing creative. So again, you got to get familiar with it first. I very rarely shoot a TikTok where it just runs through the entire 15 seconds. I usually break them into little increments. Even if I could do it all in 15 seconds, I'll break my quote unquote script up into parts to where the screen changes, because I just think it's more visually stimulating. That's just my opinion, and that's why I do it.
Yeah, it is. You're right about that too.
So lastly, Tristan, and then we'll let you share your screen. I've got a who to follow here. Oh, look, Tristan popped up first. So these are some of our friends in real estate and mortgage that are really crushing TikTok. Take a picture of this screen. Because if you want to follow people that create relevant content to what you guys want to create, these are the people you want to follow. Obviously, myself and Tristan are up there, and we've done a pretty good job of growing our followers. Dean is kind of one of our OGs. He runs a company called Digital Muse. He has a distinct advantage, which is another reason why he's at 170,000 followers, but he puts out different kind of content. So it's interesting to follow. Lana does a lot of family and lifestyle. She's a realtor in Colorado Springs. She's awesome. She's super entertaining. Tanner Ritchie is he's probably one of the original realtors that I know that was on TikTok. Yep. He's an amazing dancer, and he literally intimidated me for a long time on TikTok. And then I realized that's not what it's all about. He's just a really good dancer, and he uses it to his advantage. He's fun to follow. He's really good at TikTok. The silly realtor, Amy Melendez, she's down in Florida. She's crushing it. She does some really cool, unique stuff. These next two guys are mortgage guys, and you'll notice Scott here, that mortgage guy, has 132,000 followers, and Nate, he's called Mortgages Are Boring. He has 190,000 followers. Both of these guys have grown their audiences organically. Nate, I just talked to him last week. He's been on TikTok since February. Folks, did you hear what I just said? He's been on TikTok since February. He's got 190,000 followers. Folks, that's insanity. Like, you cannot get that on any other platform. Now, he's gotten partially lucky, but partially because he's good at TikTok. But he didn't come out of the womb, AKA in February, good at TikTok. He just figured it out. He learned it. And now he's picking up business left and right because of his TikTok presence. And then, of course, there's Cece. We talk about Cece all the time. She's also very new to TikTok, and she's doing a fantastic job of creating unique and fun business real estate content. And then lastly is Christopher. I don't know Chris. I just follow him. I now know him through social media. I include him because, again, he's grown in organic. He's got really good organic growth. Look at his likes, 576,000. Like, he's had videos go viral, and he puts out goofy content. But it's a great example for those of you who might share with a similar personality as Chris. Follow Chris because he puts out some cool stuff. And he does a lot of rip-off and duplicating. So with that said, Tristan, I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully you got a picture of this. And then let's go to your screen and show them some stuff live in TikTok.
Yeah, let's show them some stuff. Let me just answer a couple of questions. One of them's for you, man. You may want to show that again. Carol says, can you repeat what you said about the video running backwards?
Yeah, so that's just a feature. So I can go back and share my screen again.
Let's do that.
So what that is it's just a effect is all it is. And here, let me go backwards. It's right here. So this image right here is on. So when you create a TikTok, there's the first screen. Then it takes you to the second screen, which is a second grouping of effects. There's another button for effects. And this is what you get. And so once you've already created the video, so I create the video knowing I'm going to do it in reverse. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, go follow me on TikTok and go look at I've done 2 of them where I'm jumping in the lake. So I intentionally created the video knowing I was going to play it back in reverse to make it look cool, right? So it makes it look like I'm coming up out of the water and landing on the deck or landing on the boat, right? And so what I did was I shot the video, I went to the next screen, I clicked effects, and then there's visual effects, transition, split, and time. And this time button then pulls up another page where you can then choose reverse. And it's really super simple. I know I might have made that sound complicated, but it's really simple. Shoot video, go to the effects, hit the time button, hit reverse, bada bang, you've got yourself a reverse video. It's that easy.
Perfect, dude. Good one. There's a really good question by Blanca. Blanca says, why are we only following a few hundred people? Blanca, the reason for me, at least, is I want to focus on the people that inspire me to create better content where I can get better ideas from. I don't just want to be following everyone. So what I would do is I'd pick a few hundred people and follow those that inspire, because if you don't, what happens is you start following a whole, let's say a few thousand people. Then instead of seeing the content that you love more often, yeah, the algorithm will work. It'll send you a little bit more, but you're going to also be seeing all the rest of the stuff too. So that's my point there.
If I can answer that too, Blanca, and this is, I don't know, that's a great point actually. And I can't discourage you, but I will tell you, so Tristan and I would qualify probably on the influencer category. Tristan for sure. I'm just a wannabe. But when you're an influencer, they actually teach you in that strategy. So this is high level stuff. So the Dean Aguilars and the Shan Srivatsas and the Tristan Ahumadas, they teach you this stuff. And this applies to Instagram too. When you're an influencer, first of all, if you ever do anything that catches viral and you grab just a shit ton, excuse my language, of followers in a short amount of time, you cannot keep up and follow those people back. However, it's also an influencer strategy. So when people go and search Jeff Fitzer, for example, or Tristan Ahumada, there's clout to having a crap ton of followers and you're following very little people. It makes you look cool. There's really no other way to describe it. It's just reality. Because if you ever notice any famous influencer, and I'm talking millions of followers, they're all the same way. They have millions or thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers and they're following this many people because they don't spend time following, they spend time creating. But when you're young to the platform, you have a great point. Follow the people that inspire you 1,000,000%. However, if it's thousands, you'll never be able to keep up. So choose the people, follow as many as you want, but pay attention to like the 5 or 10 people that inspire you the most and use them as your inspiration. Just my opinion.
I love it, dude. Good answer. We got a few minutes here. We got about 5 minutes to show some good stuff here.
Let's do it.
Let me share my screen with you.
While you're doing that too, I'm going to answer somebody asked, how much time should we spend between the different platforms? That's up to you. It's how much time you have. Tristan and I, we usually say, or I should say, I would dominate 2 platforms. Personally, I dominate 5. And by dominate, I mean, I post a lot, like every day on 5 platforms, but it's part of my job now, right? I teach this stuff. So I have to be. For you in business, you do what you're comfortable with. Do what you can do. And so you decide what makes the most sense for you. TikTok, remember, is a great app just for creating content, using it to post back to the other platform. So if nothing else, use it for that.
Yep, you got it, man. All right, so I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I'm on mine right now, then I'll go to Jeff's. But I'm going to give you an example of one I posted yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And it's so simple here. I turned down the volume. Let me turn down the volume here. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of loud. Let me pause it.
No, it's not. It's not on our end, Tristan.
All right, cool. All right. So this one this one I just grabbed a picture from Redfin. That's what I did here. I'll show you at the beginning. Let me just let it go. There, right there. So I grabbed a picture from Redfin on my phone. Then I went through the 360 tour. I picked another picture and I just put that together. I put the little sound on. It's less than 5 seconds, 7 seconds around there. And it's already had 500 likes and 3,300 views. That's how easy this crap can be.
Yep.
It's absolutely absurd how this would have that many views, right? So people overthink the simplicity of things, but let's go to Jeff. Jeff.
Well, and Tristan, if I can mention something about that, we actually looked up a realtor in Dallas last time we did this, and she only had like 10 TikToks. Every single one of them was a luxury listing, and she was killing TikTok. And I think the reason is because people are attracted to, when they see a $15 million property, my eyeballs stop. I want to see what Tristan's got. And so it's kind of a hack in a way to gain more eyeballs. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Dude, and I've tested, at least in my area, I've tested like doing all this stuff. And for some reason, those keep on doing a lot better, which is, for me, the area I have, right? I have that luxury of doing that. Here's one that Jeff did that's showing that reverse feature.
That's it. All I did was do a backflip and did it and then put it in reverse. That's it.
That's it. He got 250 likes and a few thousand views already. And the idea behind it is you start exactly like Jeff said. Start posting, have fun, and then throw business in there. The idea is to get a lot of followers on the goofy, fun stuff. And then now that you have their attention, you can start then teaching them and encouraging them to follow you and do other things like Nick. Nick, where was Nick? Nick just jumped on. What's Nick Niehaus, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome because I liked his stuff. Nick Niehaus.
We have our first training in the business video school on TikTok tomorrow. We're actually going to walk people through how to create 2 TikToks. So if you're interested in that, go to the Business Video School Facebook page just to get the information for that and join us. It's going to be an hour-and-a-half training, and I'm actually creating 2 TikToks today to help you all be able to create your own TikTok. So it'll be kind of fun.
I love it. All right, let's watch Nick's. This is his first TikTok. All right.
Look at that. He's got 288 views.
Wipe it down. Wipe it down.
That was pretty good. You did a good job on that.
So, and by the way, folks, that TikTok is a popular one. Like a lot of people have created the exact same one. They do it different ways. And that was really creative of him. That's exactly how you use those editing features that Tristan was talking about, where it's really simple to do exactly what he did and stop it. And it's really, you know what takes the most time to create the video he just created was changing outfits. That's what takes the most time.
That's so true. That's very true. So let me show you exactly here the timer, because I think this is probably, besides the music, I think the timer is the most important one. So you click on the little timer, and then you see you have 3 seconds or 10 seconds. I keep it to 3 seconds, but what happens is the music behind that I have, I can say, okay, well, I want the music to stop right there, or I want the words to stop there. And then I start the countdown, and then I would record it or match my voice to whatever it's saying, and then it's going to stop automatically. It stopped. I didn't have to press anything. And then I can go to the next one, and I can start the clip from there, and I can say, okay, let's do another clip from there, another 3 seconds. It's warning me. Now I can pause and get going, and then it'll stop automatically. That is an amazing feature that you will use probably every day. Let me start all over here. I'll just exit.
I love it. And Tristan, I noticed somebody else asked a question about, do you shoot your own TikToks or do you have somebody shoot you? I do probably 90% myself. So I use a tripod. I use this feature. I set it up. Now, occasionally I'll have my kids shoot the TikTok depending on what I'm doing. Like the one where I was flying, I had to have my teenage daughter do it because it was complicated. But that's the answer to your question. That's the beauty of TikTok. It's so easy to create quick content on the fly. yourself. And then you can actually, so what I do, guys, is I create TikToks all the time in the moment. Like, instead of getting my camera out and saying, ooh, I got to take a picture, I got to take a video, I now think I got to TikTok this, because I can quickly do it. Like, let's just say I'm on my boat and a cool boat goes by, I TikTok it. Then I put it in my drafts and I finish it later. I can go add music later. I can add caption later. You don't have to do it in the moment. And you just set it aside, set it in your drafts, and finish it later. It's another, just kind of a mindset shift.
You got it. And then when it comes to other people's listings, what you can do is ask for permission to post them up on social, just like we do now, right? And if it's your office listing, ask your broker, see if it's okay. I'm in Malibu, so I mean, all my friends have listings and they're all multi-million-dollar listings. So I just call them up. In some cases, I don't need to call them up because we're friends. I just post it up. So just do yourself a favor, though. Do ask for permission, because there will be brokers or agents that'll get angry at you, and for doing that if you do that. So,
hey, Tristan, like, so when you said you took the picture of the $15 million property, you took it from Redfin or wherever you said. Did you ask permission, or you just?
For that one, it's my friends, so that one was easy for me. But I just don't want to put anybody in a position where they can get somebody else to get angry at them. Normally, what I would do is I would ask for permission. If you don't want to, I mean, it's already on Redfin, right? You can just grab it and post it up and say, hey, look what I found on Redfin. Check this house out. You're not saying you're selling it. You're not saying anything other than, wow, this is an amazing home.
Yeah.
So
I did never understand why somebody would get their panties in a bunch over that. Like, you're helping them potentially sell their property. Why are they pissed?
I had one agent one time, this is years back, and she just chewed me to little pieces for that. And I was like, I'm not going to go through that again, so I'll just ask for permission. It's easier.
Yeah, it's smart, but it's an abundance mentality. If I was a realtor and I had listings, I'd be like, hey, folks, create all the TikToks you want. Everything you could possibly do.
Put it out there.
Right.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm going to get more listings that way.
You put the Business Video School Facebook page. Awesome. Anything you want to add, man? I feel like we can do like a part 3, part 4, and part 5 to this.
Yeah, we definitely could. And I think what we're going to do is, so I talked about that Nate Fain, and I would say he has done the best job of growing an organic audience and doing it in a short amount of time. His tag on TikTok is mortgages are boring. He actually works. He doesn't work for my company. He works for a competing company. I don't care. I just want to, share. And I told him that when I called him. I was like, hey, I'm not trying to recruit you. I love what you're doing. And he is unlike me. So I create majority lifestyle. He has majority business. Mortgages are boring. He figured out a way to make it a little bit more fun. So go follow Nate Fain. His mortgages are boring, or what it's called. It's just a great way to get ideas. You'll see that he's good at TikTok. He's learned it. He's really good at it. But that's the concept. And if you have just a slight creative bone in your body, you're going to quickly fall in love with TikTok, just like Tristan and I have, and so many others, because you realize the possibilities are endless on the content that you can create. And even if you never grow your TikTok audience, you have 10 followers, you could still have 200 videos in TikTok and use that as your content on the other platforms, and you'll win on the other ones, because I am. So.
Yeah, very, very good addition. There's a good question, Lizette. So you think this is totally different than just doing boomerangs, videos on Facebook? The biggest difference, Lizette, is that the TikTok app has so many capabilities to edit that video, and it goes super deep, but it looks simple, but it really takes some time to develop a good skill around that. So
Boomerang has one feature, and I love boomerangs, by the way. And you know why we use boomerangs? We use them for closing pictures. Instead of a closing picture, we boomerang, because it makes the closing picture stand out. But for everything else, Boomerang has one feature. That's it. TikTok has more features than we can mention in an entire day.
Yeah, I agree. All right, dude, let's do a part 3 to this.
Awesome. You know what we'll do is we'll bring on Nate. We'll bring on Nate in early July and we'll interview him. And you know what? If this continues, we'll just keep going deeper and deeper.
Jeff, what time is Facebook Business School tomorrow? Somebody asked.
Hold on.
Can we just put a link to that? What is that link?
If I had it, I would. It's actually, you got to go in. It's not on. It's in the Business Video School. It's not a Lab Code Agents. It's not in Lab Code Agents tomorrow. It is at 2 o'clock Central. So from 2 to 3:30. So noon Pacific, or 3 o'clock Eastern, just go to bizvideoschool.com or the Business Video School Facebook page, and you'll find it, and just register for it. Make sure you're on.
All right, just put up the link up there just in case anybody's wondering.
Yep. And Mindy, real quick, to save a draft, when you've created the video and you go all the way through to the caption page where I told you about the caption, you either post it or you draft it. You have two options. Post it, draft it. Draft it means save for later. Post it means it's gone. It's out. So that's where you do it.
And you guys are awesome. Thanks. Please follow me, Carol Polito. All right, I'll follow you, Carol. I'll look you up right after. Thanks, everybody.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys. We'll send out the recording next week.